Well, the US has blamed Iran-backed militants for this attack on a military base in northeast Jordan. It happened before dawn, and so a lot of the people there were still sleeping, and it's left 3 Americans dead and more than 30 people injured. US media outlets are reporting that the reason this wasn't prevented might have been because an American drone returned to the base at the same time, and so there might have been confusion around whether this was in fact an enemy attack. But as we wait for more information on exactly what happened there, the US president is weighing his options on how to respond from here. Joe Biden has said that the United States will respond, that it will hold those responsible to account, but we still don't know what that is going to involve. The president has been meeting his national security team in the Situation Room at the White House, and his Defence Secretary Lloyd Austin would only say this when he addressed the matter at the Pentagon earlier.
Let me start with my outrage and sorrow for the death of 3 brave U.S. troops in Jordan and for the other troops who were wounded. The President and I will not tolerate attack on U.S. forces, and we will take all necessary actions to defend the U.S. and our troops.
Now, Joe Biden is under pressure to respond forcefully here, including from some Republicans in Congress who argue that he should be ordering strikes inside Iran. The president's National Security Council spokesman would only say earlier that the president is closely considering his options and insisted that he is not looking to further escalate tensions in the region.
Dr. Roger Shanahan is a global affairs analyst and former army officer. He joins us now from Sydney. Roger, good morning to you.
Good morning.
The way these things work, there will be a response from the US. In your view, what will be the smart, the strategic response from the Americans?
Well, it's ultimately up to the president to choose exactly what targets they're going to prosecute, but given there's the deaths of 3 US Army personnel, this has got to be significantly different to what we've seen before. So you would imagine once they identify the group responsible, if they haven't already done that, it would have to be senior leadership members of that and perhaps related members or senior members of such a group, and also some of their infrastructure as well. This would have to be a significant step up in escalation from what we've seen previously.
Based on your analysis so far, where are the fingers mainly pointing to at this stage in terms of who was behind the drone attack?
Well, the US has been pretty tight-lipped about it. A group, Islamic Resistance in Iraq, has claimed responsibility, but that's really an umbrella group. It can be a number of pro-Iranian likely Shia militia groups. There is some talk in the US of Kataib Hezbollah being responsible for this, but the reality is we'll probably know exactly who did this when we find out exactly what the targets are that the US is going to bomb.
Oh, well, there's a lot of pressure on President Biden in America already, with people already blaming Iran over there. And we have the likes of Lindsey Graham, a senior Republican senator, saying, and I quote, "Hit Iran now, hit them hard." What do you think the prospects of America attacking Iran directly are?
Very, very low. I just don't see that as a likely scenario at all, regardless of what Republicans in the US might say. The US, the White House administration has also said that it's not seeking to broaden a war. It's also been asked about whether it sees Iran as responsible. It deflects the question to some degree, but I think in the target lists that are presented to the president, if there is an Iran option, it's not going to be accepted.
Okay. What are the dangers, though, of this drone strike triggering an escalation in the broader Middle East conflict, or at the very least broader Middle East tensions, Roger?
Well, listen, we also have to understand there's been over 160 attacks on US bases in Iraq and Syria to date. They haven't been successful in killing service personnel until now. And so this kind of tit-for-tat escalation is something that has been going on for quite some time. But the US has been very cognizant of the fact that it doesn't want any of its responses to spark anything broader in an already unstable region at the moment, and so it's going to be very careful in the targets that it selects, and it's going to have a very direct causal link to the groups or group that conducted this attack. And this is qualitatively different in that it was a target that was selected in Jordan, which hasn't been experiencing attacks previously. So that, again, is something that is different and may get factored into the response.